And you're welcome here today, Ara, and I just want to commend as well. I want to commend Senator Francis Back for all the work she's done on that, and to welcome to Brian and Conor here in the gallery as well. I do not wish to spend my time here this evening stating the obvious, but in these circumstances it's hard not to do so. Israeli settlements in the occupied Palestinian territory are illegal. They have been ruled to be illegal not by me, not by opposition parties, not by the government, not by Senator Black, who everyone has acknowledged has done so much more, had brought forward so much more perfect of this bill forward. They've been ruled to be illegal by the International Court of Justice. This bill only applies to the trade and the importation of goods from the occupied territories. It does not apply to services, and it does not apply to exports. Yet the highest court available to the United Nations is unequivocal. Israeli settlements in the occupied territories are illegal. The same court, in paragraph 278 of its ruling, demands that states should no more trade with these settlements and services than we should in goods. We should no more export services than we should import figs or dates. This is explicitly said, and I quote, "All states are under an obligation to abstain from entering economic or trade dealings," and they are, again to quote, "prevent trade and investment relations with the settlements." It is not only our legal obligation not to engage in trade with the occupied territories in our own name, it is our legal obligation under international law to prevent others from doing so. If we do not comply with this paragraph of the ruling, we are in breach of international law. In many ways, Ireland and Israel have similar economies. Both are modern, open economies with a much higher value on services than goods. And this bill only applies to the trade and the importation of goods from the occupied territories. It does not apply to the importation of the exportation or the exportation of services. Ironically, actually, there would be less of a breach of the ICJ ruling if we allowed the importation of goods and outlawed the export of services. While the government argued that the EU law prevents us from acting, Spain has proven that if the will is there to outline the advertisement of services such as Airbnb, that it can be done under existing EU legislation. We, along with the rest of the EU, outlawed the trade of both goods and services in Russian-occupied parts of Ukraine within months of the invasion. We show that the practical identification and outlawing of trade and services in specific geographical areas of a wider range is possible. Why have we not the political will to do this to Israel? Senior Israelis have frequently slandered Ireland and our leaders, including Micheál Martin, Simon Harris and Michael D. Higgins, as being anti-Semitic. It goes without saying that we as a state and those three individuals are not anti-Semitic. I trust and hope that we will always continue to challenge the scourge of anti-Semitism, just as with any other form of racism. These slurs are used as a form of bullying, as a means to enrage US politicians and to direct our foreign policy. The consequences of these utter, untrue allegations have caused the Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael and independent government to prevaricate, and it has deterred us from concrete economic actions. Actions which would have underlined our diplomatic criticism of the behaviour of the State of Israel and of its proxy militias among the settler movement. Settler militias and settler-only units of the IDF continue to extend the occupation to fresh areas of Palestinian land. They continue to expel the inhabitants and ethnically cleanse ever greater areas of Palestine. And I, too, Minister, have been to Palestine. Our state is not the state which is guilty of systematic genocidal racism. We should not be afraid to follow up our words with economic actions. The Occupied Territories Bill should include imports, exports, goods and services. And unfortunately, this weakened version before us today does less than half a job.